Close your eyes, lay your head down. Now it's time to sleep.
May you find great adventure as you lie and dream.
If you're scared of the darkness, I will calm your fear.
There's a light in the hallway, so you know I'm here. So count your blessings every day.
It makes the monsters go away.
And everything will be okay.
You are not alone.
You are right at home.
Good night.
Good night. You won't need me forever, but I'll still be here.
For we all have our nightmares, even me, my dear.
From now on, if you need me, you can sing this song.
There's a light in the hallway, burning all night long.
So count your blessings every day.
It makes the monsters go away.
And everything will be okay.
You are not alone.
You are right at home. Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night.
We've been told of our history. 6 million of us died during the Holocaust.
6 million, such an enormous number.
How do we take it in?
Who were these people?
What were they like?
And the ones who survived, how did they do it?
Can you make your history ours so that we can understand?
We will be asking a lot of you.
It might be difficult to remember, and it will be painful at times.
But in return, we will give you our time,
Our attention, Our respect.
Our friendship. And our word that we will never forget.
We will be asking a lot of you.
It might be difficult to listen to these stories.
It will be very careful at times, but if you can bear it, you will perform a mitzvah, never to forget and never lose hope.
Together we will form a bond stronger than any will to destroy us. Let us begin. me and tell my story. Thank you.
My name is Evelyn Spiegler. I was born in 1928 in Leipzig, Germany. 5 years later, the Nazis came to power. So when I came of school age, my parents thought it prudent to enroll me into a Jewish school. Therefore, I never really experienced any discrimination because I was in a Jewish school and all of my friends were Jewish. However, my family itself was of mixed religion. My mother had converted to Judaism. I loved members of both my families, particularly my maternal grandmother, my Oma. My fathers and uncles were in the business of importing and exporting furs and reselling them to people who could make them into coats and other things. Business was good and we were comfortable.
Every school day morning, when I was about 9 years old, I awoke to a pounding on my bedroom wall. That was Irish, the boy next door. Irish had taken a dim view of my being late for school, so when he discovered that my bedroom and his family's apartment shared a wall, he offered to provide my morning wake-up call. I would hurry up and get dressed so that we could meet and walk to school together.
Good morning, Iris.
Good morning, Ava.
Have you heard? My class is going to have a new teacher because Fräulein Schuler has gone to England. Someone said she's going to be a maid there, but why would she want to do that if she could just be a teacher here?
She left because things are getting worse for the Jews here, and signing up to be a maid is one way women can get to England. I have a cousin who did that.
Everyone is going somewhere. Last year, my Uncle Shlomo moved to Paris with Aunt Lottie and their baby boy, and the year before that, my cousin Hardy went to Palestine. He went with the youth aliyah on a kibbutz to do farming. My mother says Palestine is all desert, so how could he do farming there?
It isn't all desert. They grow oranges and other crops with their fertile land.
How do you know that?
Herbert told me.
Oh, your brother Herbert, he knows everything. Does he want to go to Palestine?
No, he wants to go to university, and he can't because Jews aren't allowed in German universities anymore.
That's so dumb. He's so smart. He's always reading books. He doesn't even play soccer like my cousin Hardy. That's another thing. The Bar Kofa Club lost a good player when Hardy left, and some of his old teammates are leaving too. They're all going to Palestine.
Do you blame them? They can't do much here.
I don't want to go anywhere.
I don't want to go anywhere except for the Alps for skiing like we did last winter, and right here I want to go to the pool in the summer, and my parents want to go to concerts and to the theater again. Irish, why can't we do these things just because we're Jews?
I don't know, Ava. I really don't. Did you finish the homework?
Of course I did. I'm going to get the best grades in school.
No, you're not. I am.
No, I am.
Not if you don't have your books, you're not.
Hey, Irish, stop.
Our friendship grew, and then one morning, there was no pounding on my bedroom wall.
Irish, good morning. Irish? I don't understand.
Their apartment was intact, but they were gone. It was like they just disappeared into thin air. They had left the country, we heard later, for Amsterdam. I know what they say about the boy and girl next door, but that outcome requires time. It requires a future. There was no future for Eric and me. This was 1937 in Germany. A year later, my mother said to me,
"Come and help us pack your things, Ava."
Why, Mutti? Papa, where are we going?
We are going on a vacation to Paris. Come now, help me quickly.
I helped my mother pack, and we soon boarded a train. The second the train crossed over the border from Germany into France, My mother looked at me with tears in her eyes, and she said,
We will never see Germany again.
What do you mean, Mutti? Why?
We are moving to Paris, Eva. Germany is no longer safe for the Jews.
What about my friends, my family? What about Oma?
Hush, darling, it's all going to be all right.
I remember that apartment in Paris. There wasn't much furniture there. Looking back, my parents must have known we might not be staying for long. And indeed, one day in September 1939, again, I found my mother packing.
Eva, help me pack. We are at war. Uncle Shlomo has found us a house on the coast of France. It will be safer there.
But Mutti,
You'll like the coast, Evchen, the ocean, the beach. We have to hurry now. Come.
I was confused, but enormously excited at the same time. I had never seen an ocean before. I packed my books and my favorite stuffed toy. I was ready. We boarded a train to Brittany, and when we got there, we were greeted by my aunts and uncles, and my beautiful 16-year-old cousin Ruth said to me,
Oh, hello, everyone. It's so good to see you. Come, Eva, let's go to the beach.
oh my God, it's enormous. Can we go inside?
Of course we can.
It's so warm. I love it. I love this ocean.
That September seemed to last forever. The water was warm, the air balmy, and thanks to Ruth's spectacular good looks, we soon had a circle of beach friends. But as winter came and the reality of war became more apparent, a gloom set in, until one incredibly glorious day, a life-changing piece of news arrived in a simple white envelope.
Oh, Emmy, Eva, come here.
What is it?
Papa?
What's the matter?
Look, I can't believe it.
What?
Such wonderful news. Look, we've been granted visas. We're going to America.
America?
Wait, America? But Papa,
Yes, darling?
what about our family and friends? What about Ruth?
A month before my 12th birthday, we set sail for America. The journey lasted 10 days, and my father and I were seasick the entire time. We arrived in New York and were met by several distant relatives, one of whom, Joe Kerner, had saved our lives by giving an affidavit to the government saying he would be responsible for us if need be. We lived in the Bronx. I went to public school, and the next year, the relatives we had left behind in France were able to join us in New York. It wasn't until after the war that all this came crashing down for me. That's when we learned what had happened in Europe that had not been reported in the daily news. It was only then that I learned about the Holocaust.
It says here that Jews were taken to concentration camps and killed by the millions. By the millions. There was torture and crematoriums, and oh my goodness, how could we not know this was happening?
My abhorrence at something so unimaginable took its toll, and it still does today. In December of this past year, I did research on the internet to find out what had happened to Erich, the boy from next door. All this time I had pictured him growing up, being happy, living a good life. But what I found out was that he was deported from Amsterdam and he was killed at Auschwitz. He was only 16 years old.
I was spared all this. Why?
Life went on. When I was 18 years old, I was accepted at Cooper Union Art School, where I studied graphic art. I met my husband, Charles, at a summer resort. He was the tennis pro that year. Charles Spiegel was born, raised, and served in the city of New York in the public school system and at Baruch College. We had one son, George. I worked part-time for the United Nations Association for several years, and from there I moved on to the healthcare field in fundraising and nonprofit development. I retired in 1995 from NYU Medical Center. I do a bit of writing these days, essays, a book, and in fact, I wrote much of the scenes about my life, which you just witnessed. Thank you, Amanda, for telling my story.
Rebecca, will you tell my story?
My name
is
is
Hannah Deutsch.
I was born in 1922 in Dusseldorf, Germany. I was an only child. My mother was so very beautiful that her nickname was the actress. However, while my mother had the looks, my father was the one who had the heart. He was the most warm and loving man. He was everything to me.
I'm gonna get you, Hannah. You better
You're
run.
never going to catch me, Fatih!
Whoa, slow down, slow down, slow down. Wow, you're way too fast for me. Wow. Come, Hannah. I want to show you off to the people in my office. They're gonna love you.
He made me so happy. But in 1929, everything changed. I was only 7 years old. My father got a promotion at work, and we were to move to Dresden. He went ahead to get us an apartment, and we followed 2 weeks later. But there was a flu epidemic. My beloved father caught the flu, and 48 hours later, he was dead. We returned home broken-hearted with his coffin on the train. My mother did not handle the trauma very well. She had a complete breakdown and could no longer care for herself. My grandmother had to care for her.
One.
Hannah, you need to be quiet. My nerves can't take the noise.
I'm sorry, Mutti.
Hannah, listen to me. We need to be apart for a while. Mutti needs some time alone. You're gonna stay with the rabbi, okay? Don't cry, don't worry, you'll be okay.
So she sent me off to foster care with the rabbi in a strange community, hours away from our home. It was an absolutely horrible experience. The children at school chased me and called me names, and the rabbi abused me. After a year, I finally got brave enough to tell my grandmother what had been going on.
Oma, please, please, don't make me go back there.
But Hannah, I don't understand. He's a rabbi.
Oma, he hits me all the time.
Hannah, listen to me. You don't have to go back there. I love you. You will stay with me, and I will take care of you.
I lived with my grandmother and my aunt in an apartment, and my grandmother was wonderful to me. But on the night of November 9th, 1938, the world changed. I was asleep, and all of a sudden, the bed started to shake. I woke up, and my mother, whom I hadn't seen for a long time, was sitting on my bed.
Mutti, you're back! What is going on? Why is my bed shaking?
Hannah, you need to get up.
What's going on? What are those noises? Why is the sun so bright in here?
The synagogue, it's on fire.
That night became known as Kristallnacht, the night of broken glass. The next day, buses took all the Jewish men away. That is something I see in front of my eyes to this day. Long buses with no windows, taking the Jewish men to jail and then to the concentration camps. 2 months later, a letter arrived for my mother that I was to report to the train station to be on the Kindertransport. I was 16.
You're going to be okay.
No, Mama.
You'll be
Please
okay,
don't send us,
okay?
please, please.
You're going to be
I want
okay.
to stay here in Germany. Please, Mama.
Hannah, you know that we have to do this, don't you?
Yes, Oma.
Sending you away to England with all the other children is the only way to keep you safe. There is no other choice for us.
I understand. I love you with all my heart.
And we love you, my beautiful, beautiful Hannah. We will see each other again soon as we can.
I don't want to cry. Dear God, don't let me cry. Don't let me show how I feel.
I love you.
Mama. Don't go.
Goodbye.
You should know that 50% of the children on the Kindertransport never saw their parents again. I managed to wait until I got on the train to break down and cry. On the day of my transport, there were children ages less than 1 to 16. That made me the oldest, so I decided to take responsibility to watch them. I tried my best to take care of them. Our only identification was a rope around our neck with a cardboard number and our passport.
I want to go home.
Hush now. It's going to be all right. We are going on a big adventure. I want to go home.
Please.
Children,
I don't wanna go.
listen. Hamalach hagoeloti. Hamalach hagoeloti mikora. Yivarech et haniyarim. Mikareh b'hem shemi. B'shem avotai. B'shem avotai. Avraham v'Yitzchak. V'yitgul harav. V'yitgul harav. B'kerev haaretz. When we arrived at the Dutch border, I was pulled off the train and strip searched. Then we went on to Holland, and from there, a boat took us to England. All of the other children on my transport knew where they were going. They had foster care or relatives lined up to meet them. But I was all alone, a child of the committee who didn't belong anywhere.
After moving to a boarding house, I had to go to the committee house, where they asked me what I wanted to do. I passed some tests, and they put me into a hospital as a probationary nurse. I did not know the language. It was very difficult. After 7 months, World War II broke out. I was 19 old. I decided to join the army because I felt I had to repay England for saving my life. However, at that time, refugees were not allowed to hold important jobs in the army. I took it upon myself to speak to a commanding officer.
Ma'am?
What is it?
Ma'am, my name is Hannah Deutsch. I came here from Germany on the Kindertransport. I'm a registered nurse, and I want to continue my work as a nurse in the army.
You know very well that refugees are not allowed to have any jobs of import in the army. You cannot be a nurse. Perhaps you can be a cook.
Ma'am, Please. I'm an excellent nurse, and my skills are needed during this war. I beg you to help me.
I will take it up with headquarters. Come back to me in 1 week.
It was the longest week of my life, wondering what would happen. 1 week later.
I have a letter from the Home Office, Miss Deutsch.
It says that you'll give me a try.
That's right. And if you do a good job, we will be able to take on other refugees. Do not disappoint me.
No, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
This was a very important moment as I opened the door to other refugees being able to hold positions of responsibility during the war.
I joined the Army in 1941 and was stationed by Buckingham Palace, looking after my company and working in the operating room at the hospital. One time, I was called to come with an ambulance to a railway station where troop transport had been bombed. There were only body parts left, and I had to help clean them up. It was horrific. There were 5 times I could have been killed. At one point, I was knocked out by a car during a blackout. I woke up 3 days later in the hospital.
I believe that Hashem kept me alive for a purpose, and that is to teach about the Holocaust. I found out later that during the war, most of my family had been killed. Aunts, uncles, cousins, everybody. The only people who survived were my mother and my stepfather, who both escaped to Chile.
I learned that my grandmother, aunt, uncle, and baby cousin had been sent to the Riga concentration camp. My uncle died of starvation. One day, the women were told that all the children were going to be taken away.
Jews, line up.
Please don't.
Silence. Give me the baby. Give me the baby.
Where my child goes, I go.
Where my child goes, I go.
They were all 3 taken outside the camp and shot.
Did they do right? Did they do wrong? Could they have survived? I can't really answer this. And if I was in that situation, I don't know what I would have done. It may sound strange, but my years in England during the war were the best years of my life. People were united against an internal threat, helping each other and getting along. My life went on. In 1943, I married a young Canadian soldier whom I met at the Jewish Forces Club and became a Canadian citizen. A year later, I became pregnant and was discharged from the army. The Canadian government brought me as a war bride to Canada, where my new family took me in. It was the first time since the Kindertransport that I felt I had family. My first son was born in 1945, and my second son 2 years later. I worked as a social worker for the Jewish community. In 1949, my husband died of complications from injury he sustained during the war. My sons and I moved to Chile, and I became an interpreter for the United Nations and sold Israel bonds. While in Chile, I went to college to become an accountant. I returned to Montreal in 1955. Then in 1962, my younger son and I moved to the United States, and my older son moved to Israel. I was an accountant until my retirement. Now that I'm retired, I'm busier than ever. In a few weeks, God willing, I'll be 95 years young. Age is only a number. Keep involved, even after retirement. Feel good, and you won't know how young you are. Rebecca, thank you for telling my story.
We would like to share with you about our friend Celia Kenner. She could not be here with us tonight, but she gave us her permission to tell her story. Her son David is going to come up and help us.
Lauren, would you portray my mother?
My name is Celia Kenner.
My mother was born in Lvov, Ukraine, in a house that was always full of singing and dancing.
Come join us, Zilla.
She was an only child, and her family took wonderful care of her. She was always entertained by her parents and cousins.
My mother was supposed to start school at 7, but the war had already broken out and her town was occupied by Russia, so she never learned to read and write as a young child.
She was happy, though, enrolled in ballet classes and had many Polish friends. Or so she thought. The day of her big dance recital, everything changed.
She was 7 years old, she was all dressed up.
Zilla, come here. Smile, sweetheart. Oh my goodness, you're adorable. I can't believe that costume. You look just like Shirley Temple. All right, you're run off and practice with your friends. Next time I see you, you'll be on stage.
Okay, bye, Papa.
Suddenly a truck rolled up, and the soldiers in it began yelling for the children to point out the Jews.
Who are the Jews here? Show us the Jews.
She's a Jew. She's a Jew.
You, come over here. Get on the truck.
She never would have believed that these girls, whom she loved so much, would have betrayed her.
Do you have children of your own? How would you feel if they were put on a truck like this?
Run, keep running, and don't come back until it's dark.
My grandmother had heard she'd been captured. She thought she was dead. She could not believe her eyes when her daughter showed up at home.
Tilla, oh my Tilla.
Little did they know, but at the same time, in another part of town, the Russians had captured her father as well. He was drafted into the Russian army, and they had no idea what had happened to him.
Soon my mother and grandmother were taken into a ghetto. She said she remembers how crowded it was, and there was always marching music playing.
The ghetto was full of misery. People were forced to see family members killed right in front of them. Children were starving in the streets.
Give me the food. It's my food. I need the food.
Stop.
I have 3 children. They need the food. They're gonna die. I need
Stop.
the food. Please, give me the food. I'm sorry.
Stop! I can't get these sounds out of my head. But I'm like a cockroach. You can step on me, but I will run. You can press down on me and hurt me, but I will survive.
My mother's family tried to shield her from as much as they could. Then my grandmother was forced to work in a labor camp outside the ghetto.
Tilla, they're making me leave. I have to go. I promise I will come back and visit you as much as I can. I love you.
I will try to be strong, Mama.
And she was strong, stronger than any child should have to be. She was left with other family members who were supposed to take care of her. But when there was a raid,
They're coming! Hurry, hide!
The people they were supposed to hide with didn't want to allow her in because they were afraid she would cry, and that would alert the Nazis. She was only 7 years old, but her aunt said to her,
No, Sila, I'm so sorry, but you have to find somewhere else to stay till the Nazis pass. It won't be long. We'll see you again in the morning. You're a smart girl, a brave girl. You'll be all right.
as the raids continued to happen, more and more children came into danger. Germans were annoyed by crying Jewish babies and had no remorse in silencing them permanently with the back of their rifles. So people began to put their babies into the ruins of the house she was hiding in during raids. She took it upon herself to try and take care of them, to keep them quiet and safe from the Nazis.
The parents were very grateful to her and would give her a bit of food and thanks. That is how she survived.
Then my grandmother came back from the labor camp. She was very surprised to find my mother alive. One night, she covered her with a black blanket and snuck her out of the ghetto. She brought her to a home of a Christian family who had agreed to hide her, but on one condition.
Scylla, you know I love you, right?
Yes, Mama, of course.
Darling, we must do something very difficult. I'm going to bring you to live with another family. You will be safe there. They will feed you and clothe you and take care of you. They have no other children and are happy you will be there. But you will not see me again. You will become their daughter.
But Mama...
It's the only way you will survive.
Her new family embraced her and were very kind to her. No one else knew she was there. She was not allowed to go near the windows of the house, so the neighbors couldn't see her, and she slept in a small, hidden closet. She eventually felt like part of the family and began to refer to these good Christian people as mother and father.
When the war is over, can I stay with you? Will you be my mama forever?
Of course, Scylla. You will always be ours.
About 9 months later, she walked into the front of the house, and the whole family was facing away from the windows.
Scylla, turn away, don't look!
They were trying to protect her. She didn't want to see, they didn't want her to see the horror that was going on outside. There was another family, 2 adults and 2 children, being publicly hanged for hiding Jews. Her adoptive family decided it was too dangerous to keep her around. They knew that if she was discovered, they would all be killed. So her adopted mother did a very brave thing. She told the rest of the family,
I am going to send Scylla to an orphanage. It will be hard to lose her, but it's the only way we all will survive.
but she didn't send her to an orphanage.
My sweet girl, I cannot bear to send you away. Do you think you would be able to hide in the barn out back? It will be very difficult. No one can know you are there, and I can only come and bring you food every 3 days when I'm supposed to feed the animals. Can you do it?
Yes, Mama, I can do it.
Good. That's my brave girl. And Scylla, there is a surprise for you. You will have a friend in the barn.
A friend?
She walked her to the barn and separated the hay, and there, instead of a child, there was a woman, a skeletal, disheveled-looking woman. She was frightened of this stranger. Then she began to talk.
Scylla, do you know me? Scylla, look at me. Do you remember the day of your recital? You looked so beautiful in your costume.
Mama?
It turned out that her biological mother had escaped from the labor camp and in desperation had come back to this kind woman for help. Only the adopted mother knew that now both of them were hiding in the barn. When she was feeling strong, my grandmother would speak of happy things.
Scylla, did I ever tell you how much your father adored you? You were the apple of his eye, the music in his life.
Oh, Mama, I miss him so much. Tell me how things will be when we are free.
I promise you, my angel, that when we are free from all of this, I will make you the most wonderful meals, and we will celebrate every single holiday. There will be so much joy in our lives that you won't be able to stop smiling.
When she was feeling weaker, her speech would grow serious and sad.
Scylla, listen to me. I love you more than anything. My one wish in life is that you get to grow up, but I am very sick. I might not make it through this.
No, Mama, please don't say that.
Hush, you must hear this. The woman who's born this is a good person, and she is risking everything for us. She would love you and take care of you. You must promise me that if I don't live, you will find a way to love her as your mother.
But, Mama.
Promise me.
Yes, Mama, I promise.
Good girl.
After liberation, her adoptive mother had to sneak them out because she did not want the rest of the family to know that they had been hiding Jewish people all along.
Scylla, you and your mother are free now. Promise me you are going to be an obedient girl.
I will.
And listen to your mother.
I will.
I don't know how to thank you. You saved our lives.
The Russians who liberated them brought them food and taught them how to live again. Later, a letter arrived that was signed with a name she did not recognize. It was from her father. He had been forced into the Russian army, escaped, and was living in another part of Russia under a different name. He expected her to welcome him back with open arms.
Zilla, come to me. Oh, you think you don't know me, yes? Here, perhaps this will help you remember. Look, Zilla, do you recognize this? This is a photo of you on the day of your dance recital. Do you remember, Zilla? I told you you look like Shirley.
Shirley Temple. Papa!
Zilla.
Coming out of the barn, the world seemed very surreal. It took time for her to understand what being free meant. On August 27th, 1949, the family came to America. When she finally saw the shores of America from the boat, she told the family that she wanted August 27th to be her birthday, and from then on, so it was ever since. The family settled on the Lower East Side, and she studied very hard in school. Her parents had another baby, and she helped raise him. At her 16th birthday party, she met a boy who would become her husband, my father. He passed away several months ago. He was a very good man. My parents had 3 children, and she did her best to raise them a very beautiful life with Jewish traditions, even though she herself did not have a childhood. To the teenagers of today, she says, you should not bully anyone, and if you are being bullied, you should stick up for yourself. Thank you for helping tell my mother's story, Lauren.
Thank you. Will you play me?
Sure. My name is Harry Whitland. I was born in 1931 in Jewish, Poland. I lived a simple life before the war. My father was a grain dealer. He was a very kind man. When a local farmer needed help, my father would always find. Papa, Farmer Lakowski's here to see you.
Hello, Whitland.
Hello, what can I do for you?
I need a bag of grain, but I cannot pay you for it right now. Do you think you can find it in your heart to help me? I would be so grateful.
Yes, of course. Come this way. Neighbors must watch out for each other, yes?
Thank you.
My life was good. I went to movies, played games with my little sister, Esther. She should rest in peace. But even before the war, there was anti-Semitism.
What is that?
I don't know.
Harry, Esther, what are you looking at the window?
Look, Mama, I think it's a holiday for the Christians. I can see them walking to church.
Oh my God, you're right. Get away from the windows.
Why? What's wrong?
Dirty Jews!
Mama,
Leave!
we
don't
are
like
Ukrainians
you!
are worse than the Nazis.
Things became terrible. I had to, if I had to write a book, why I am alive today, believe it or not, I would say that it's because one Nazi gave us advice that helped us survive.
Papa, run!
One day, when I was about 10, 12 years old, I was helping my father outside, and I saw Nazis heading to our house. I yelled to my father.
Please, take anything you want, but spare my children.
You speak German very well.
Thank you, sir.
Come here, Jew. We are going to be building a ghetto here. We do not expect people to survive. Why don't you go into hiding?
You will find us and kill us anyway.
We are fighting a world war, not looking for you. Listen to me. If you want to survive, take your family and hide. We are done here. Take anything that's valuable and let's go.
My father was a very smart man. He paced the floor all night, trying to figure out what we should do and where we should go. The next day, he took all of us to the farmer to whom he had given a grain several months ago.
Lukowski?
Yes, what is it?
Can you call off your dog?
Heel!
We are in great danger. We are Jews, and if we don't find a place to hide, either the Ukrainians or the Nazis are going to kill us. Can you find it in your heart to help us?
You were kind to me when I was in need. Now it is my turn to return the favor. I can take your wife and daughter, and they can hide in the bunker I built under my floors.
The farmer was a very righteous man and risked his life to help save us. While my mother and sister stayed in the bunker, my father and I hid in the forest. Soon enough, though, even the small sense of happiness that they were safe was taken away from us. One day we went back to check on them and were met by Farmer Lukowski.
I'm so sorry, but there are rumors in town that I'm hiding Jews. You must leave or we will all be killed.
Papa, what will we do now?
We will hide in the forest. And Harry, Esther, Claire, whatever happens, do not run out into the open, because they'll be able to shoot you. Stay within the trees.
There began at the time all hell on earth. We spent months in the forest, terrified, cold, hungry, without showering. Then one day, I ran to the top of a hill and took shelter under the cover of a huge tree.
I will stay up here by this tree until it's safe. I will not cry. I will not cry. Think, Harry, think. I ran for so long. Where am I? How long have I been up here? Harry, what are you doing? This is not going to help you anymore. God's not going to help you. Maybe I should just turn myself in. I know that dog. It's Farm Lukowski's. I must be near his farm.
Harry, what are you doing here?
Please, I lost my family. If they're alive, they'll come back here. If not, I'll turn myself in. Please, I swear. I will not tell anyone you saved me or tried to help me.
Come.
He took me out to the field and covered me with dirt. He was afraid to put me in any bunker because he could be killed for hiding me. He had his daughter bring me a canteen of milk. I always remember this kindness. One day, my father, mother, and his sister came back.
Lukowski?
You all survived.
No, we lost Harry.
I have him.
Harry!
Papa, Mama Esther. We returned to the forest and found out that only 700 of the 7,000 Jews in our hometown survived. We returned there after liberation. After moving from country to country, we finally received our American visas, and on November 7th, 1949, we moved to America. It was like a dream come true. We lived in East New York. I started school and joined a YMCA. When I was 18 years old, I was drafted to the American Army, and sent to the Korean War, then to Tokyo, Japan, where I taught Russian to American pilots.
After I was discharged from the Army, life was very beautiful. I went to Israel, where I met the woman who would become my wife. I took a job in the haberdashery store and later went to the hotel business and was happy about it. I have 2 daughters and 5 grandchildren. Still remain in contact with the daughter of that righteous farmer. Life is a miracle, and we have to take care of it. I am a proud Jew. I keep active, go to the gym, play tennis, go to shows. My favorite thing in my life is ballroom dancing. Tango, merengue, and many other things. Thank you for helping me share my story.
My name is Edith Friedlander. I was born in Vienna in 1922. I was an only child, so I felt very important. My mother would always invite kids to come and play with me. I participated in sports and piano. I loved chocolate cake and schnitzel. It was a wonderful, secure life. When Hitler annexed Austria, I didn't think it would affect me because I had a Czech passport. When I moved to Prague, I became friendly with the students in the town. I couldn't imagine the catastrophe that would happen.
In 1942, when I was 20 years old, my mother and I were sent to Terezin concentration camp. I was allowed to bring very little with me, but I decided I would take a book with mathematical puzzles in it as a way to pass the time. Little did I know that book would save my life. The Nazis took about 1,000 of us by train, and when we got to Terezin, we learned that there were young Jewish men called Aufbaukommandos who helped build the camp and run the camp. For some reason, the Nazis let each of them keep 2 people from going to the eastern transports. One of them saw my book and came up to me.
What do you have there?
It's a book of puzzles. Very good, very difficult. Would you like to see it?
Yes, it's okay. Thank you. My name's Ernst.
I'm Edith.
Listen, take this book back. Keep it hidden. You show it to me whenever I want, and I will tell the wardens that you're my fiancé. I will make sure you and your mother are not deported to Poland.
I must ask my mother if this is all right.
Sure.
Mother, this man wants to call me his fiancé. I'm not really sure why, but he says if he does, we won't be sent east to the concentration camps.
I'm not sure I'm comfortable with this, but he seems to have some power here. It may save our lives. Tell him you agree, Edith.
I was never positive it was me or the book that Ernest wanted, but he kept his promise. In fact, he and I stayed friends until after the war. Life in Terezin was not horrible. There were hospitals and Jewish doctors. There was not a lot of food, but we were not starving. The Germans did not harass us much, but always haunting us was the ghost of transports to the east. Then in October of 44 came the fatal moment for me. 100 of us were told that we were being sent to work in one of the German war factories. Ernest could do nothing about it. My name and my mother's name were on the list. From that time on, there was no escape. They pushed us into cattle cars and closed the door. It is impossible to describe the horror of 100 people shut up in a small space, old people and babies, the seriously ill, moaning and crying, filling the air.
Please, can't we have some water?
Be strong, Edith. We will survive this.
I feel like I can't breathe.
Dirt and mud and sweat and desperation. No light at all in the night. Nobody could even sit, as we had to make room for the ill ones. After 2 days and nights, the train stopped and the doors opened. By the light of the moon, we looked so old we were hardly to be recognized. We saw people outside in striped dresses with a haggard, greedy animal look in their eyes, and then endless rows of wooden barracks without windows, each one separated by high walls of electric barbed wire.
What is this place?
Dear God, Auschwitz.
Attention Jews, line up now, hurry up and make a line.
At the front of the line, telling everyone where to go, was someone we would later learn was a monster, Josef Mengele.
Go to the left, right, left.
No, you can't do this. I need to be with her. You'll see her soon, certainly tomorrow.
Edith!
That was the last time I saw my mother. A glimpse of her slim silhouette vanishing into the night.
I cannot explain to you the horror of Auschwitz. I became very passive, defending myself from reality. In my mind, I could not accept it or live in it. I was so down, I couldn't even weep. I can't understand how it was possible to survive. Day by day, hundreds of people died. After a week, I was sent to a labor camp where I worked as a plumber in a munition factory. In April of 45, I was sent back to Terezin. Then one day, I heard that there was a train that would be leaving for Prague. I gathered my friends and made a plan.
I have a plan. When no one is looking, we must sneak aboard the train. What if someone sees us?
It's dangerous.
I'll take that risk. I'm with you, Edith.
Come on, let's go.
It was incredible, but no one saw us go. By some miracle, I found an old friend in Prague and stayed with her. After the war, I lived with my Czech friend and began working for the consulate of Paraguay. I was in charge of giving out visas for people to emigrate there. There was a rule that I was only allowed to give out visas to those who were Catholic farmers. However, guess what? There was no rule that I had to actually believe their answers.
Good afternoon. Can I help you?
Yes, I'm in need of a visa. I want to go to Paraguay. I'll be safe there.
I see. You know, only Catholic farmers are allowed to emigrate to Paraguay. It is a non-negotiable rule that those are the only people they are accepting. So, are you a Catholic farmer? Think carefully before answering me.
Yes, I'm Catholic. Very religious and a farmer.
Well, in that case, approved. Mazel tov.
I got enormous satisfaction out of this because I was messing with the establishment. I came to America in 47, met my husband, and we moved to Queens. We lived a very happy life, traveled extensively. In 76, I began working at the American Journal of Psychotherapy and became the associate editor. I remained at the job until I was 80 years old. I celebrated my 95th birthday in January, and I'm still going strong. Thank you for playing me. Wait.
We want to leave you today with some words of wisdom. The most important thing is family. Believe in love, faith, and patience. Rome was not built in a day, and things take time to develop. Remember to take advice from people who mean well and who care, especially your grandparents and other older people.
Tell your story, because every once in a while you may run into someone you can influence in a positive way. And remember, it is important to have friendships stretching beyond the borders of different groups. Always try to be optimistic, because pessimism is debilitating.
Do the best that you can in your life, but don't forget to give to others. Continue to enjoy what you have, because you're very, very lucky.
Remember this: the Holocaust did not begin with gas chambers. It began earlier, gradually, in Germany, with such measures as the curtailment of civil liberties and the destruction of a free press. Therefore, in your own time and place, in the here and now, cherish those freedoms, stand up for them, and protect them.
Thank you for allowing us into your lives and for sharing your lessons and memories with us.
Thank you for shouldering the weight of our stories. With your arms, the burden is a little lighter.
For us, it's not a burden, but it's a sacred responsibility.
It is a gift.